Hi, this is Kathy from Nail Basics. This month it's our 20th birthday and we've put together a special box for you this month. We want to share with you our most popular products in our gel line as well as our new line of brushes. And now we're going to get to the unveiling. This is Afterwipe. This is our gel cleanser. It's a dehydrator and cleanser to be used with all sticky film removal. This is our bondage. Bondage is our gel adhesive. It's used prior to our first and last. Our first and last is our bonding gel. It's to be applied initially before we put on our extension, which would be either a fill with French or a new nail custom designed with French. Flex is our building gel and our blending gel. We've also included a roll of forms for you to sculpt your new nails. And we'd like to introduce our line of new gel brushes. We have our bondage brush, which is our pretty yellow handle, our gel brush, and our Pro Round, and our synthetic brush in our collection. Just for you this month, for our birthday celebration, a really fun little dog tag keychain.
Today I will be sculpting a new nail for you using the products that were included in this month's box. The first thing we do always is use Cuticle. This is the cuticle softener and remover. It makes it really easy to get the protein residue out from under the cuticle area. Just applying that liberally to the cuticle and then taking your cuticle push and gently lifting the cuticle up and pulling that protein residue out. This will ensure you get a really good bond with your product that will prevent lifting from the back end of the enhancement. After that's done, taking Afterwipe and with a saturated nail wipe, just cleansing the nail. This will remove the cuticle, which is important as it's an active enzyme and it can cause skin irritation if left on too long. And it's also dehydrating the nail plate, again, to ensure a good bond. Next is prepping the nail. This step can be done with a buffer block like I'm using today, or you can use a medium or fine grit arbor band with your electric file on the very lowest possible setting. Just all we're doing here is just gently buffing the surface of the nail. The gel will adhere better to a rough surface than to a smooth surface. And then taking a dust brush to just dust away any little fine dust particles, and then once again cleansing really well with Afterwipe. Now we're coming in with bondage. Again, this is our gel adhesive. This acts like a double-sided sticky tape for your gel. It's taking the bondage brush and just applying that generously to the nail plate. We recommend a minimum of 2 coats to a maximum of 5. After 5, it doesn't really do much, but the 2 coats gives a nice saturated nail plate with that bonding agent. We'll then go in with first and last, or bonding gel. As you can see, this has a little bit of like a medium viscosity. It's not super thin, but it's definitely not thick. It's very quick self-level and very clear. We'll apply first and last with the Nail Basics Pro Round brush. Now we'll come in with a small bead on the brush and placing that close to the cuticle and then creating some surface tension, going to pillow that all the way around the perimeter of the nail. So getting nice and close into the cuticle and all the way down the side walls of the growth channel. Creating this pillow effect will make almost like a dam for the blending gel. So when you apply that, it doesn't overflow, like flood off of the nail. And then just brushing the first and last through the entire nail plate. And then clean your brush off, and when doing a French enhancement, it's important to wipe away where you're going to place your smile line. This will do a couple things. It'll make it easier for you to know where you're wanting to place your smile line, and it will prevent any shadowing in the corners as there's no clear gel underneath of the white that you're applying. Once you're finished with that, you're just going to give that a quick 20-second cure. Next up is form application. We've included our Nail Basics foil forms in this month's box for you. When applying the form, the first thing we want to do is take this middle sticker and actually stick it onto the back of the form. This will make the form a little bit stronger and it makes it a little bit easier to work with. So that's placed on there, and then take the form and roll it a little bit to get more of a C curve shape into it, and fold the arms back. I fold the arms back just to get them totally out of my way. And then applying the form, just gently slide it underneath of the existing free edge, almost rocking the form up underneath of there. And once you're happy with the placement, everything is straight, just pinch the end of the form. When you look at it from the sides, it should be coming straight out from the growth channels, as though you can imagine what the natural nail would look like if it was growing out. Now building the extension itself, we've included French in the box. This is our softest white. It does have a very slow self level, but it is the thinnest of our whites. For application of the whites, I like to use the gel brush. This was previously our white-handled brush. And when applying the whites, it's always best to work with a few smaller beads rather than one large bead. So taking a small bead and then coming in to start applying. Lay the bead down in the middle of the nail and keeping the brush attached to the gel the whole time, working in small circles and using a tuck and pull motion to manipulate the gel from the middle to the corners and into that growth channel area. And once you get into the growth channel, tucking it into the side and gently pulling straight down to create your free edge. And again, taking another small bead and working it to the other side of the nail. And smoothing out the extension and trying your best to make sure that there's no really high spots or really low spots. If you see any shadowing, you can come in with a little bit more product. Just getting that as close to, I don't want to use the word perfect, but as close to perfect as you can. For wiping the smile line, I like to use the Pro Round. You can see the difference in the bristles. The Pro Round is much more rounded in comparison to the gel brush. With the gel brush, you might find that it pokes into this gel a little bit too much. So for me personally, I like the Pro Round for wiping my smile line. Laying the brush flat, again, starting from the center of the nail and rotating from the center up into the growth channel. I then like to actually wipe upward in toward the growth channel. If you wipe down, you might wipe away that really crisp corner that you've just created. After you've wiped upward, that you can then just come gently on the side and wipe down to make that nice crisp line from the growth channel to the edge of the extension. And again, sorry, it's really hard to do this without getting my hand in the way, but coming on the other side and doing the same thing, starting in the middle and with a sweeping motion, sweeping from the middle up into the growth channel and tucking that corner up in there. And then again, wiping upward first to keep that nice crisp corner, and then wiping down to create the crisp edge of the extension. And then you can also wipe across the top of the extension, and this will make it a little easier with filing. You won't have nearly as much work to do. And again, just the more time you spend on application, the less time you'll have to spend on filing. The filing is more just cleaning things up as opposed to fixing what you didn't make, again, perfect in quotes, in your application. And then once that's finished, you'll give that, again, just about a 20-second cure. You don't need to do a full cure at this point. Once that's cured, you'll just pop the form off. If the form does not just instantly give way from the nail, you need to cure it a little bit longer. When you're doing a full set though, it's really easy to just leave the forms on until you're finished and they'll just pop right off. So you can see the extension is nice and thin, there's not any extra bulk anywhere, and that's pretty much your whole extension. The next thing here is coming in with Flex. So this is our blending gel. This has quite a thin viscosity. It is very quick self-leveling. It can be a little tricky to work with at first, especially if you're new to doing nails. But again, just working with small beads is always the key to the thinner gels especially. So once again, coming in with the Nail Basics gel brush. The first thing I'm going to do is build the supports. So this is going across the stress point of the nail. So that's pretty much right at your smile line, a little bit behind it, and down the growth channels. So it's almost like an H on the nail. And you don't need to add a whole lot on top of the extension because again, we're not trying to build any thickness, and the strength comes in those stress points, so on the actual nail plate and not on the extension itself. And at this point, if you're feeling more comfortable with a quick cure, you can do a quick flash cure here, so about 10 seconds, just so that that product doesn't start moving on you. And then coming in with another bead, starting to blend. So we're always working from the smile line or the edge of the free edge of the nail back toward the cuticle. You don't want to start by placing the product at the cuticle, as you don't need bulk and thickness at the cuticle. Again, that doesn't actually add any strength to the nail. And then wherever you place your apex is really up to you. I know the more European style, the apex is a little closer to the cuticle. The, I guess, Canadian or American way tends to be a little bit closer into that stress area by the free edge, like by the smile line. So wherever you like to place your apex at this point is totally up to you. And once you're happy with your application, I generally will go back again. So I'm happy with the way this is right now, but I do have a little bit of a dip. You can see it with my light here, but I am gonna cure that. So I'm only curing, again, just freezing about 30 seconds. And once that's done, I'm gonna pull it back out again. And I'm actually just going to grab another little bead of product and fill in that little bit of a dip that I have. So rather than fighting with the product and potentially having a lot of flooding, it's easier just to flash cure and then fix the issue. And then I am going to give that a full 2-minute cure at this point. So after that 2 minutes, giving a really good cleanse with some after wipe. Make sure you're getting all of the sticky layer, the dispersion layer off of the nail. And then coming in with your perimeter filing. I like to use the Erica's Diamond file. I like the coarse one. We do sell a medium one now as well. And then just pulling any gel away from the skin that may have connected and going ahead and getting that perimeter shape into the nail. Using a really hard file like this, I don't mean grit wise, but actual like a stiff file is great for the perimeter rather than like a foamy file or a board file. It just gives you those really, really crisp lines. And now coming in with the electric file to do your shaping. I always start off with a medium grit arbor band, and this is getting the final shape into the nail, really perfecting the application that was done. And if there is any extra bulk, just taking that extra bulk out. Making sure when you're filing as well to look from every angle. So looking from both sides of the nail, looking down the barrel, making sure that everything is symmetrical and even. Now is when I like to come in with my board file. I use a 100-180 grit, so I'm using the 100 grit right now. And this again is just perfecting that free edge. When I'm doing a square, I do like to slightly taper them. It just gives it a little bit of more of an elongated look. So that's what I'm doing at this point. just really honing in that perfect shape that I'm looking for. And then once that's done, coming in with the diamond cone to clean up underneath of the nail. This is especially important when you're doing a new nail, as there will be a little bit of an edge just from where the extension meets the natural nail. You want to smooth that out as much as possible, and it prevents your client from picking the free edge off. And last but not least, coming in with your crosscut barrel, I use a medium grit. And this is, again, just really perfecting the shape, taking out any extra bulk and really smoothing that enhancement. And then finally, I like to come back in with my foam buffer and just quickly give the whole nail another little buff. This will remove any tiny imperfections that there might be in the surface and give you a really nice, smooth, even finish coat. And then giving the nail a really good buff with a duster brush, and once again cleansing really well with some after wipe. And then for the top coat, using the synthetic oval, this was previously our gold handled brush, and again using first and last for the top coat. If you like, especially in the winter months, you might want to use a warming tile to warm your first and last. It'll just make it a little bit thinner, a little bit easier to apply as a top coat, but you don't have to, it's just an option. But just painting that on the nail using a medium pressure, and then giving that a full 2-minute cure. And once again, giving that a really good cleanse with some after wipe. Make sure to remove all of the sticky residue. And then I like to come in with the 180 grit side of my file and just clean up the edges, just in case a little bit of your top coat got onto the skin or anything happened in the light. Just cleaning that up really quickly, and then applying your favorite cuticle oil. I'm using the Young Nails Rose Oil today, rubbing that in, and that is your brand new nail fully sculpted.